Hello everyone. Welcome back to Star English Stories YouTube channel. I'm Mike, your guide on this exciting journey to mastering English. Whether you're just starting out or looking to polish your skills, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving into some fantastic tips, tricks, and methods that will help you become more fluent and confident in English. But before we get started, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our amazing learning community. We have a lot of great content lined up just for you. You know, when I started learning English, I felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information out there. But over time, I discovered some really effective strategies that made the process enjoyable and much more manageable. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. Did you know that immersing yourself in an English-speaking environment can dramatically improve your language skills? It might sound challenging at first, but let me tell you, it's one of the best ways to learn. When I first started learning English, I was struggling to understand native speakers and felt frustrated. But then, I decided to change my approach. One evening, I chose to watch my favorite movie, The Lion King, but this time in English and without any subtitles. At first, I felt lost, catching only a few words here and there, but I stuck with it. As I continued watching, something amazing happened. I started to pick up new words, phrases, and even the rhythm of the language. It was like a light bulb went off in my head, and I realized how powerful immersion can be. From that point on, I made it a habit to immerse myself in English every day. Whether it was through movies, music, or books, I surrounded myself with the language, and the results were incredible. My understanding improved, my vocabulary expanded, and I began to feel more comfortable speaking and listening in English. And that's just one of the tips I'll be sharing with you today. So stay tuned, because we're going to explore some exciting and practical ways to make your English learning journey effective and fun. Ready? Let's get started. When I first started learning English, I faced a major hurdle: understanding native speakers. Their speed, slang, and accents made it really tough for me to keep up. I remember feeling so frustrated because I could read and write reasonably well, but real-life conversations felt like an entirely different language. One day, I decided to take a different approach. I picked up my favorite movie, The Lion King, and decided to watch it in English without any subtitles. At first, it was incredibly challenging. I missed a lot of the dialogue and felt like giving up. But I stuck with it, and something amazing started to happen. Slowly but surely, I began to pick up new words and phrases. The context and the visuals helped me understand the storyline, even when I didn't catch every single word. After a few days of this, I noticed my comprehension improving. I wasn't just learning vocabulary. I was also getting a feel for the natural flow and rhythm of English. This experience opened my eyes to the power of immersive learning. It was like a switch had been flipped, and I could suddenly see the progress I was making. Immersive learning is one of the most effective ways to learn a new language. By surrounding yourself with English in a natural, engaging way, you can improve your comprehension and pronunciation without even realizing it. Watching movies, listening to music, and reading books in English expose you to the language in different contexts, helping you to understand not just the words, but also the nuances of how they're used. When you're immersed in the language, you're constantly picking up new information. You learn how native speakers construct sentences, the common idioms they use, and the cultural references that might not be obvious from textbooks alone. It's a dynamic and enjoyable way to learn. So, why not start today? Pick a movie or a TV show you love and watch it in English. If it feels too challenging, start with subtitles and gradually wean yourself off them. You can also try listening to English songs and paying attention to the lyrics. Another great option is to read books or articles in English. Choose topics that interest you, so the learning process feels less like a chore and more like a fun activity. Remember, the goal is to immerse yourself in the language as much as possible. The more you expose yourself to English, the more natural it will start to feel. Trust me, it works. And don't worry if you don't understand everything right away. Keep at it, and you'll see progress before you know it. I remember when I met my friend John, who was also learning English. We were both struggling with speaking fluently and confidently. One day, we decided to make a pact. We would practice speaking English together for 30 minutes every day. At first, it felt really awkward. We stumbled over our words, paused frequently, and laughed at our mistakes. But we didn't let that stop us. We kept going, day after day. Over time, something incredible happened. Our conversations became smoother, and our confidence grew. We started using new words and expressions we had learned, and we felt more at ease speaking in English. What began as an awkward exercise turned into a fun and rewarding daily routine. Practicing with John made a huge difference in my English skills. Speaking practice is crucial for language learning. It's not enough to just read and listen. You need to actively use the language. Regular speaking practice helps you get used to the sound and rhythm of English, improves your pronunciation, and boosts your fluency. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. And remember, making mistakes is a normal part of the learning process. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve. When you practice speaking, you're not just improving your language skills, you're also building your confidence. The more you practice, the less intimidating it becomes to speak in different situations, whether it's ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, or having a conversation with a native speaker. So, how can you start practicing speaking regularly? One of the best ways is to find a language partner. This could be a friend who is also learning English, or a native speaker who wants to learn your language in exchange. You can also join a local language club or an online language exchange community. Apps like Tandem or HelloTalk are great for connecting with native speakers and practicing your speaking skills. Set aside a specific time each day for speaking practice. It doesn't have to be long. Even 15 to 30 minutes can make a big difference. The key is consistency. Make it a daily habit, and you'll see steady improvement. And don't be afraid to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Try discussing different topics, role-playing various scenarios, or even recording yourself speaking and listening back to identify areas for improvement. Remember, the more you practice speaking, the more fluent and confident you'll become. So start today and watch your English skills soar. I remember when I was struggling to find effective ways to practice English every day. Then, I discovered a few language learning apps that made a huge difference in my progress. Apps like Duolingo and Babbel offered fun and interactive lessons that kept me engaged and motivated. Every day, I would spend a few minutes on these apps, practicing vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation through games and quizzes. One of the things I loved about these apps was the sense of accomplishment they provided. Each time I completed a lesson, I earned points and moved up levels, which made the learning process feel like a game. This gamification kept me coming back for more, turning language learning into an enjoyable part of my daily routine. Technology has made language learning more accessible than ever. There are countless apps and online resources that can help you practice and improve your English skills. These tools are designed to be engaging and user-friendly, offering a wide range of activities to suit different learning styles. Whether you prefer visual lessons, interactive exercises, or listening to audio content, there's something out there for everyone. Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, Memrise, and Rosetta Stone offer structured lessons that cover various aspects of language learning, from vocabulary and grammar to pronunciation and conversation skills. They use advanced algorithms to personalize your learning experience, adapting to your level and progress to ensure you're always challenged but never overwhelmed. So, how can you make the most of these technological tools? Start by downloading a few language learning apps and incorporating them into your daily routine. Spend at least 15-20 minutes each day practicing with these apps. Set a specific time each day for your practice, whether it's during your morning commute, lunch break, or before bed. Consistency is key. The more regularly you practice, the more progress you'll see. Take advantage of the different features these apps offer, like flashcards, quizzes, and speaking exercises. Don't just focus on one app. Try out several to see which ones you enjoy the most and which methods work best for you. Remember, technology is a powerful ally in your language learning journey. Use these apps to complement other methods like immersive learning and speaking practice. By integrating technology into your study routine, you'll find that learning English becomes more manageable and enjoyable. So go ahead, download those apps, and start practicing today. One of the most effective strategies I used to improve my English was building a strong vocabulary. Every day, I made it a point to learn 5 new words. I would write each word down in my notebook, along with its definition and a few example sentences. Then, I made it a goal to use those words in my conversations throughout the day. At first, it was challenging to remember and use the new words correctly. But as the days went by, I noticed my vocabulary growing. Words that once seemed foreign became part of my everyday language. This practice not only expanded my vocabulary, but also boosted my confidence in using English. I felt more articulate and better equipped to express myself in different situations. A strong vocabulary is the foundation of effective communication. Knowing a wide range of words allows you to express yourself more clearly and accurately. It also helps you understand others better, whether you're reading, listening, or having a conversation. Regularly learning new words and phrases can significantly enhance your language skills and make you a more confident speaker. There are various methods you can use to build your vocabulary. Flashcards are a classic and effective tool. You can create your own flashcards or use apps like Anki, which use spaced repetition to help you remember new words. Word games and puzzles like crosswords or Scrabble are also fun ways to reinforce your vocabulary. So, how can you start building a strong vocabulary today? Here are a few actionable steps you can take. 1. Set a daily goal. Aim to learn a certain number of new words each day. Start with 5 words, just like I did. Write them down in a notebook or use a vocabulary app to track your progress. 2. Use flashcards. Create flashcards with the new words and their definitions. Review them regularly to reinforce your memory. Apps like Anki can be particularly helpful because they use spaced repetition to optimize your learning. 3. Play word games. Engage in word games and puzzles to make learning new words fun. Games like Scrabble, Boggle, and crossword puzzles are great for expanding your vocabulary. 4. Incorporate new words into conversations. Challenge yourself to use the new words in your daily conversations. This practice helps reinforce your learning and makes the new vocabulary feel more natural. Remember, building a strong vocabulary takes time and consistent effort, but it's incredibly rewarding. By expanding your vocabulary, you'll find it easier to understand and express yourself in English, boosting your overall communication skills. So start today and watch your confidence and proficiency grow. When I first started learning English, I found it difficult to express my thoughts clearly. My sentences often felt jumbled and confusing. That's when I realized I needed to focus on understanding grammar rules. I started dedicating time each day to study the basics of English grammar. At first, it was a bit overwhelming, but as I practiced, I began to see the patterns and understand how sentences were constructed. Understanding grammar rules made a huge difference in my communication. It gave me the tools to construct sentences correctly and express my thoughts clearly. This newfound clarity in my speech and writing boosted my confidence immensely. Grammar is essential for constructing correct sentences and conveying your message accurately. Without a solid understanding of grammar basics, it's easy to make mistakes that can confuse your listener or reader. Focusing on grammar helps you communicate more effectively, ensuring that your sentences are clear and your ideas are understood. By mastering the basics of grammar, such as verb tenses, sentence structure, and punctuation, you create a strong foundation for your language skills. This foundation allows you to build more complex sentences and express more nuanced ideas as you progress in your learning journey. So, how can you improve your grammar skills? Here are some practical steps you can take. 1. Invest time in learning grammar basics. Start with the fundamental rules of grammar, such as subject-verb agreement, different tenses, and proper punctuation. Understanding these basics will help you construct sentences correctly and communicate more clearly. 2. Use online resources. There are plenty of resources available online to help you learn grammar. Websites like Grammarly, Purdue, OWL, and English Grammar Online offer comprehensive guides and exercises. YouTube channels dedicated to teaching English grammar can also be very helpful. 3. Practice regularly. Consistency is key when it comes to learning grammar. Set aside time each day to study and practice. You can use grammar workbooks, online exercises, or apps designed to improve grammar skills. 4. Read and write. Reading books, articles, and other written content in English exposes you to correct grammar usage. Writing regularly, whether it's a journal, essays, or even social media posts, helps reinforce what you've learned and allows you to apply grammar rules in context. Remember, mastering grammar takes time and effort, but it's a crucial part of becoming fluent in English. By focusing on the basics and practicing regularly, you'll see significant improvements in your ability to communicate clearly and effectively. So start today and watch your confidence and proficiency grow. So, to recap, here are the tips and methods we discussed today. Immerse yourself in English. Practice speaking regularly. Use technology and apps. Build a strong vocabulary and focus on grammar basics. These strategies have helped me immensely, and I'm confident they will help you too. Remember, learning a new language takes time and effort. It's a journey filled with ups and downs, but every step you take brings you closer to your goal. Stay patient, keep practicing, and don't give up. You can do it. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and keep pushing forward. If you found these tips helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Star English Stories. Your support means a lot and helps us create more content to aid your learning journey. I'd love to hear your own tips and experiences, so leave a comment below. Your insights might help someone else in our learning community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep learning and stay awesome. Remember, every bit of effort you put into learning English brings you closer to fluency. See you next time on English Sky YouTube channel. Hello, my name is Carlos. I am learning English. This is my story. I want to tell you about my life in New York. I want to tell you about my wonderful teacher. You can read my story. You can learn English with me. It is a sunny day, and I am riding a bus. There are two men sitting next to me. I don't know them, but from their conversation, I know they are tourists. I don't understand much of what they are saying, but I know they speak English. I also want to speak English, but I am a beginner. I don't know many words. However, this is an opportunity for me to speak English. I decide to try to speak to the men. I say some sentences in my basic English, and they understand what I say. I don't know many words, and I speak slowly, but the men are friendly and patient. I am able to have a simple conversation with them. I tell them that I want to learn English. They are happy when they hear that. and they tell me that they are from Australia. They are visiting New York for a vacation. We speak for about 10 minutes. Then it's time for me to get off the bus. While I am thanking them for speaking with me, they give me their email addresses. They tell me I can contact them if I want to practice English, and then we say goodbye. This is how my journey in learning English begins. After this meeting, I decide to work on my English skills more. I translate songs and I watch TV shows in English. I work on my English for 2 hours almost every day. In 6 months, I am able to speak quite well. It is great, but I want to know more. I decide to go to an English school in New York. I choose a school which I think is good. I really look forward to my first lesson. The lesson is on Wednesday. On my first day at school, I meet my teacher and the other students in the class. My teacher is a young man. He is very nice. He asks everybody to introduce themselves and say where they are from. Then the lesson starts. Our teacher asks us how we studied English before and what we think is the best method to learn English. I tell my teacher that I like watching movies with subtitles, but I don't know what the best method to learn English is. Our teacher says that he will teach us a very effective method, which is based on using the language. Our teacher tells us that we will not have to study, and we will not use textbooks. We will immerse ourselves in the language. It is great for me since I don't like studying and I don't like textbooks. Then we speak about what we should focus on when we learn a new language. Our teacher tells us, we need languages for communication. Languages help us share ideas and understand ideas. So when you learn a new language, the best way to learn is to use it for exchanging ideas. This is what we will do in our course. Most of the time we will speak. You spoke a lot when you learnt your native language as a child, and you should speak a lot when you learn English as an adult. Unfortunately, many students spend a lot of time on memorizing new words or learning grammar rules. They don't use English for speaking. They study about the language, but they don't use it very much. Of course, you need to learn new words and new grammar, but you don't actually have to study them. During this course, I will show you a very simple and effective way to learn new words and grammar. I like what our teacher says. Our lesson continues. We speak about our hobbies and what we do in our free time. We speak in pairs or with our teacher. It is great, and we speak for the entire lesson. I enjoy it so much. I have never spoken so much English during one lesson in my life. I have never learnt this way before. I am happy and I look forward to the next lesson. I go to school on Thursday again. One of the students asks a question that is interesting for me. She asks, "What is the best way to learn new words?" Our teacher says, "There are many things you can do to learn new words." I will tell you what is statistically the most effective way for learning new words. It is reading. When people read when they learn a new language, they learn twice as fast as people who don't read. It is good to read for at least 30 minutes every day. I want to show you what you should do if you want to get the maximum gains from reading. First, it is very important that the book or text which you read is interesting for you. It is important that you enjoy reading. The book can be a nice story, or it can have some useful information for your job or your hobby. Don't read a text that isn't interesting for you. It is also good to read a text in which you know most of the words. When you don't know many words, you can get frustrated. You always want to enjoy everything you do while using English. It is good to choose a text which is interesting and also suitable for your level. When you read the text and you see a word that you don't understand, you get a dictionary and you look up the word. Then you continue reading. You don't have to write the word anywhere. You don't have to make a list of new words. You don't have to try to remember the word. You only focus on understanding the text. When it is clear to you what the word means, you continue reading. Anytime there is a new word for you, you do the same. Reading also has another great advantage. When you read, you learn new words, and you also learn how every word is connected to other words in the sentence. Our teacher's advice about reading inspired me. That evening, I went to a bookstore near my apartment. There, I found a small section dedicated to books for English learners. I chose a few books that seemed interesting and were at my level. I picked up a novel about a young man living in New York, a collection of short stories, and a book about American culture. I couldn't wait to start reading them. When I got home, I made myself comfortable and began reading the novel. It was challenging at first, but I kept my teacher's advice in mind. Whenever I came across a word I didn't know, I looked it up in my dictionary. It slowed me down, but I was learning so much. After an hour of reading, I felt accomplished and motivated to continue. The next day at school, I shared my experience with my teacher and classmates. Many of them had also started reading in English. We discussed the books we chose and how we were progressing. Our teacher was pleased and encouraged us to keep reading every day. Over the next few weeks, I noticed a significant improvement in my vocabulary. Reading not only helped me learn new words, but also gave me a better understanding of how sentences were structured. I started to feel more confident in my English skills. One day, our teacher introduced us to a new activity. He called it role-playing. We were divided into pairs and given different scenarios to act out. My partner and I were given a situation where we had to pretend we were in a restaurant ordering food. This activity was fun and challenging. It forced us to think quickly and use the English we had learned in a practical way. Role-playing became a regular part of our lessons. Each time, we were given different scenarios, such as booking a hotel room, asking for directions, or having a job interview. These activities were incredibly beneficial. They helped us practice real-life conversations and made us more comfortable speaking English. As time went on, I started to feel more confident speaking English outside of class. I began to initiate conversations with my neighbors, shopkeepers, and even strangers in the park. I noticed that people were usually very patient and kind, even when I made mistakes. This encouraged me to keep practicing and improving. One weekend, I decided to explore Central Park. It was a beautiful day, and the park was full of people enjoying the sunshine. I brought my book and found a quiet spot to sit and read. As I was reading, a woman sitting nearby noticed my book and started a conversation with me. She was a native English speaker and offered to help me with any words or phrases I didn't understand. We ended up talking for over an hour. She shared her favorite books and authors with me and recommended some that she thought would be good for my level. This was another great opportunity for me to practice my English, and I was grateful for her help. My confidence continued to grow. I joined a local book club where we discussed different books every month. This was a fantastic way for me to practice speaking English in a group setting. The other members of the book club were very supportive and encouraged me to share my thoughts and opinions. One day, our teacher introduced us to a new method of learning: watching English movies without subtitles. At first, I was hesitant. Watching a movie without subtitles seemed daunting, but our teacher assured us that it would help improve our listening skills and comprehension. He recommended starting with movies that we were already familiar with, or movies that were simple and easy to understand. I chose a few family movies and began watching them. The first few times were challenging. I had to concentrate hard to understand what was being said, but gradually it became easier. I started to recognize more words and phrases, and my listening skills improved. In addition to watching movies, I also listened to English podcasts. I found several podcasts that were made specifically for English learners. They were interesting and covered a wide range of topics, from culture and history to everyday conversations. Listening to these podcasts helped me improve my listening comprehension and pronunciation. One of the most memorable experiences in my English learning journey was attending a language exchange event. These events were organized by a local community center and were a great opportunity for people to practice different languages. At these events, I met people from all over the world who were also learning English. We took turns speaking in English and our native languages. This was a wonderful way to practice speaking and listening, and I made many new friends. As my English improved, I started to feel more confident in my ability to achieve my goals. I began to think about my future and what I wanted to do. I had always been interested in business and dreamed of starting my own company. With my improved English skills, I felt that this dream could become a reality. I decided to enroll in a business course at a local college. The course was in English, which was a bit intimidating at first. But I was determined to succeed. The skills I had learned in my English class helped me a lot. I was able to understand the lectures, participate in discussions, and complete the assignments. During the course, I learned a lot about business management, marketing, and entrepreneurship. I also had the opportunity to network with other students and professionals in the field. This was an invaluable experience and gave me the confidence to pursue my dream of starting my own business. After completing the course, I started working on my business plan. I wanted to open a small cafe that served coffee and pastries from my home country. I spent months researching and planning. I found a location, hired staff, and designed the menu. Finally, after a lot of hard work and determination, I was ready to open my cafe. The grand opening was a huge success. People from the neighborhood and beyond came to support my new venture. I was thrilled and grateful for all the support I received. Running a business was challenging, but I was passionate about it and determined to make it a success. As my cafe grew, I continued to improve my English. I attended business seminars, networked with other entrepreneurs, and even took a public speaking course. All these experiences helped me become more confident and skilled in English. Looking back on my journey, I am proud of how far I have come. From struggling to speak basic sentences to running my own business in New York, it has been an incredible journey. Learning English opened up so many opportunities for me and changed my life in ways I never imagined. I am grateful for my teacher and the methods he taught us. They were effective and enjoyable, and they made learning English a positive experience. I am also thankful for all the people who supported me along the way, from the tourists on the bus to my new friends in New York.